Students at the Smith Leadership Academy Charter School in Dorchester have also been explorers, whether in community service, foreign travel, or by learning in the classroom. Some of the students recently got back from a trip to Africa. Joining us are one of the students, an 8th grader from the Leadership Academy, Nadeja Richardson, and also with us is the Executive Director, Karmala Sherwood. Thank you both very much for being with us.
Thank you so much for having us today.
Karmala, talk about this trip, and this is really one of a whole series of trips the students have been doing, right?
Well, yes, I think one of the most important aspects of our school is to make sure that our students have an opportunity to be leaders in their community and beyond. And so encompassing that, students have an opportunity to travel in New York. They get an opportunity to travel to Washington, D.C., and many places in the United States. But we often take a yearly journey to Africa, and the students have been to Uganda, Ghana, Kenya, and Senegal actually several times. So it becomes a life-changing moment for those students that get to go back to what we consider the motherland and just really experience all the different things that you might not get in a book or from a movie of sorts.
Nadeja, was this the first time you've been outside the United States?
Yes, it was my first time.
So, I mean, it must have been almost as if everything was strange, maybe.
Yeah, it was different. Like their time and their food and their clothing, a lot was different.
What about the way people behave? Anything struck you as different from what you expected?
Being that I was a tourist, a lot of people just rushed up to me. Oh, yes, try this on. You look nice. Buy, good price. They did a lot of that. So it was kind of uncomfortable at first because I didn't know the people. I was like, ooh, yeah, I don't really know you like that. But then I realized that it was really a nice country and that they were just trying to get by making money.
Were you able to, aside from those transactions, talk to people and learn something from them about the country, Senegal?
Yes, I met one woman, her name was Mama Ben, and she just told me a lot about like her journey in Africa and her hardships and how I have such a great opportunity in America compared to what she has to go through in Africa.
Of course, coming back to Karmala, sure, one of the other things on the itinerary here was to learn about what's really part of American history. I guess what's called the Door of No Return?
Yes, the Door of No Return, which I understand, seeing as how I've never visited Africa as of yet, but the Door of No Return becomes a very, very powerful and momentous occasion for the students that get to visit this site. So I'm going to turn that over to Nadeja and let her speak, because we've had many conversations in regard.
We do have a picture of some of the students standing, I guess, just above the door. Tell us about the door, Nadeja.
Well, the Door of No Return was basically where they took Africans after they were in the dungeons, and the Door of No Return was just where they were going, and once you exited that door, you were put on a ship, and the meaning of the Door of No Return is you're never going back to Africa ever again in your life.
Now, I'm sure you've heard something about this history before you went on the trip, but how does being there change how you feel about it?
Well, being in Africa in the Door of No Return, it was more like, wow, people were really just put out of that door, weren't able to say goodbye, no warning. So it was like, okay, I've seen it in a movie, but now I'm here, and it's like, whoa, that's serious.
When you were there, did you take notes or anything, or later on maybe write anything down about your impressions?
Yeah, I had a journal that I wrote every day of what I did.
And what do you think that did for you? Because maybe when you're writing a journal, maybe you notice things more as well? Try to make sure you remember them and think about them some more?
Yeah. There was one thing in particular at the Door of No Return. It was we had to wear all white just to respect that a lot of people died going out of the Door of No Return. A lot of people never got to say bye to their family. A lot of people were killed. So writing it down in my journal was like, okay, I can look back and say, wow, so Kunta Kinte was here. He left his family. He had to go to America. It's like, it just shows me how much us as Black people have evolved from that time.
And Karmala, I guess once you confront one of these stories, again, a journey into slavery is a very rough way to get here, but there are other stories that other immigrants have that, you know, I guess this is another parallel in some ways too. Yes,
and I think that's the difference in our school and some of the other schools is because we are very, very engaged, and we feel it's very, very important for students to be able to take this journey. Whether you come from Haiti, whether you come from Cape Verde, whether you come from, you know, various Caribbean countries, because most of our students are of African American or Latino descent. It's very, very important that everybody has a story and that that story is told truthfully and from the heart. And, you know, when we talk about leadership, because we are a leadership academy, it's really important to know that many of our ancestors did go through that door of no return, and the ones that survived have set the legacy for us to be able to evolve and to become leaders within our community and in the broader nation as well.
And in a different front, we also have some leadership with community organizing around foreclosures, trying to at least reduce the numbers of foreclosures. Students really learned something from that, I guess.
Yes, the students went, Ms. Richardson went to New York this fall, and I think it's important for students to not only learn the academic side, but to learn the real life side and how the academic side and the real life side join into real learning. And I think it's become very, very important for us because as we look at our academic success over the last 4 years, we're a performance level 1 school, 1 out of 7 charter schools in the state.
Can't get any better than that.
Can't get any better than that. And it proves to us that not only is learning very, very important in the classroom, but outside of the classroom as well. And it moves us to a place of allowing our students to be able to critically think and use higher order thinking skills to be able to process and learn what they need to apply to their everyday academics.
Nadeja, talk about your experience in that trip around foreclosures. That's not an easy thing to figure out, at least even for me. So did you learn something, you think?
I learned a lot about Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, and they were basically like businesses that were taking money from people or trying to put older people out of their homes or take them out of communities that they were in because either they didn't have enough money or businesses wanted to build things in that area.
Did you meet people whose homes were maybe on the brink of being taken away from them?
Yes. Around our protesting in front of businesses, there were people with loudspeakers, and they would say about how, oh, well, I'm this age and my house is being taken away from me because I don't have enough money or my job doesn't support this house that I live in.
All right, so I know it's a very harsh lesson indeed. I want to come back to Karmala Sherwood. If people are interested in this kind of experience, there's always another school year, so any way they can explore the school?
Yes, our door is always open for people that do want to come and visit. And if they're interested in enrolling their children, they can go to www.smithleadership.org and see some of the pictures and some of the things that we do on a regular basis. And they can also text the number 41513 and you know, a person will talk to them and give them a little bit of the Smith Leadership Academy experience. So our doors are always open. We have several events throughout the year that allow for people to come in. We consider ourselves to be a real community school, not only to support the community, but to provide academic excellence for all of our students with the intent that they will go on to college and then come back and support their community and beyond.
Thank you both very much. Karmala Sherwood and Nadeja Richardson from the Smith Leadership Academy.